Good morning. I want to quickly make a video here that I've got something that I really want to talk to you about today. And I often get sent articles and videos and asked to clarify what these people are saying. Videos about keto being so bad for you, LCHF being so bad and healthy, and all these kinds of things. Now, I want to clarify a few things here this morning about these things. There are so many different versions of these diets. Excuse me. If you look at keto and LCHF and banting and low carb and diabetic regimes and those kinds of things, first of all, you're going to find that there are many versions of all of them. Okay. For instance, you get healthy keto, you get unhealthy keto. You get banting that's healthy, you get banting that's unhealthy. The same with low carb, the same with LCHF. There are different versions of these diets. Now, we don't dispute that an unhealthy keto diet is not good for you. We don't dispute that. If you're going to be eating tons of fat and tons of meat and cutting your carbs wherever you can, then we're going to be shouting against it as well. So we don't dispute that. These videos and these articles like to go and take the bad version of it. They like to go and take the worst of what we're trying to do and manipulate and twist the facts to suit them. And we also say too much fat is no good, too much protein is no good. So we don't dispute that at all. The problem comes in, excuse me, that first of all, there is no diet police out there. Okay, everyone at the moment is arguing against each other, and the funny thing is they're arguing for the same thing, but they can't come together. There's especially keto. Keto is popularized right across the globe at the moment. It is huge. It's huge money. It's huge everywhere. You've now got keto in a pill as well. Yay! So these things are taking the world by storm. There is no one out there watching over you. So you have to make the decisions yourself. You have to go and explore the possibilities. Go and explore and see what is going on. What's everyone saying? The same thing with banting as well. When we started off banting 5 years ago, even before that, when the banting guys were trying to shout as loud as they could, you guys got to listen, you got to try this, this is what's going on. Even back then, we were being knocked down for feeding people a lot of fat, for promoting meat and stuff like that. It's not what we're doing. The original banting message back then was vegetables. Vegetables, vegetables, vegetables. We don't walk around eating tons of fat. I keep saying this in my videos over and over again. Excuse me. It's not about fat. It's about getting nutrition in. It's about getting your vegetables, good quality vegetables in. And a bit of protein. We want animal protein because you only get a whole protein from animal products. And then you want to add fat. And I tell my clients now even, we don't add the fat, we just don't avoid it. So if you're going to do anything that's got fat in it, you don't do fat-free, you don't do low-fat. You do the full fat one. For instance, yogurt will be double cream yogurt. It will be with all the fat it came with in the first place. So anything that used to have fat, eat it with its fat. Your chicken drumstick with the skin, with the fat. We just don't avoid the fat. That is all. And then we promote vegetables. We promote healthy vegetables, healthy fats and healthy vegetables. The main thing about all of these diets that is healthy about it is the vegetables that we promote. And this is where they hammer on the meat, they hammer on the fat, they hammer on all these things that are ridiculously unhealthy for you in so many and so much quantities, in such high quantities. And we agree with that. We actually agree with that. The problem comes in if I'm really trying to not name names here, so bear with me. If you look at some really loud countries that are going on about keto. If you Google on Google or Facebook, even YouTube as well, there's a lot of keto videos. There's a lot of keto advice and people going on about these things. But what they're doing is they will, for instance, go and cut this to the maximum. And they'll actually get a McDonald's burger, which we all know is absolute rubbish. And they'll take the bun away and eat the stuff inside. That is not keto. That is some Frankenstein version of the actual keto, of what keto used to be. They have got pills that you get ketones in a pill now, and all these things. It's getting out of hand. You have got to remember there's nobody looking after you when it comes to information. Information is freely available right across the globe, and everyone can be an expert. So be careful where you get your information from. Be careful what you believe. Be careful what you then incorporate into your own life. Make sure of the facts. The fact is that keto is a more extreme version of banting. The foods are the same, but keto is not banting. It's two different diets. This is another thing I see coming up all the time. Banting is not keto. We don't do banting. We don't do keto. We do banting. Okay, I specifically do banting because I believe that I need my vegetables. Keto cuts the vegetables down a bit and ups the fat instead. Okay, so that's the difference between those two. But at the end of the day, they are still both working on the same principles when it comes to the foods that we eat. No grains, no corn, no starchy foods, that kind of stuff, and no sugar, obviously. So there we agree, okay, but it's still two different ways of doing it. Okay, then you have low carb. Low carb, again, you have a healthy and unhealthy way of doing it. You can go low carb by just cutting the carbs. In other words, if you look at the canned food or something like that, you only look at the carbohydrates. If the carbohydrates are low, by all means, go for it. This, of course, we think is rubbish. There's a healthy way of doing low carb, which means lots of fresh vegetables in their whole form. The meats and the vegetables in their whole form. This is the message of keto, LCHF, banting and low carb. The message is food in their whole forms. There's no shortcuts, there's no little packets of things, there's no ketones in a pill or rubbish like that. So when you look at an article or a video that tells you that low carb, keto, all these things are so bad for you, try and listen and hear what version are they talking about. Because like I said, we don't dispute that some keto diets are bad for you. Yes, cutting your carbs and eating chemicals and rubbish and all that other stuff, that's not good for you. We don't dispute that at all. We actually advocate against it. Whole foods in their natural form. So a steak with its fat, eat the bloody fat. Eat it. It's good for you. Avocado is good for you. It's got good fats. It's got fiber. It's got vitamins and minerals, and it's got all these good things in there for you. So we are advocating for whole foods in their natural form. Your yogurt with the fat, your milk with the fat, full cream, my gosh, okay, cream with the fat. So we're just saying that you take your fresh whole foods and don't avoid the fats. So yeah, this is where the confusions come in, because everybody uses the word keto, the word banting, low carb, LCHF. They use them in a generalized form. And you cannot look at it in a generalized form. There are so many versions out there. My point with this whole video is to please just explain to you that there's no guidelines. There's no real guidelines. Even the guys that started this in South Africa have split up because they cannot agree on this, okay? Then you look at, are we looking at a scientist, a doctor, or a chef or something like that that's promoting this? Is it the person that's actually used it? Is it a person that's got some kind of credibility behind them or not? So you need to look at where the information is coming from. And I can't express this enough. There's no Banting, LCHF, Keto, low carb police out there looking after you. There isn't anybody out there looking after you. You got to make the decisions. You got to look after yourself. You've got to go read up, learn as much as you can. I only promote the healthy version of keto. In other words, there's no chemicals, no sugar, no colorants, none of that rubbish is in there. And it's a strict diet of do it or don't. There's no cheat days or anything like that. Again, that is a bunch of rubbish. The same with Banting, only the healthy version. That means that your starches are out, legumes are out, grains are out, chemicals are out, sugar is out. It's only whole vegetables with meat. That's it. And the Banting is more vegetables. We don't cut our carbs that low. It's not necessary. But we look at whole foods. The same with low carb and the same with LCHF. The difference between each of these, like I said, keto and Banting. Keto is a more extreme version of Banting, more fat, less carbs. Banting is more vegetables, not as much fat, and a bit of protein, okay? Banting versus low carb. Low carb is just cutting the carbohydrates down, still sticking with whole foods, okay? But they still have a little bit of rice and a little bit of potato. For some people, even that doesn't work, so you stick with Banting. Low carb versus LCHF. Again, LCHF is a wide variety of keeping your carbohydrates low and keeping your healthy fats up. So there are differences between these diets. They are not all the same. And the same as well with there are different versions of each of them. So I hope that's a little bit more clearer now. And if you get a video that says low carb is so bad for you or keto is so bad for you, just go and see where the information is coming from or what version of it they are talking about. Because you constantly hear about us banters eating too much protein and eating too much fat. We don't. We do not do that. If you take your entire plate and you cut it into quarters, okay? 3/4 of that plate is vegetables. 1/4 of the plate is your meat, nuts, seeds, dairy, and fats. All fits into that tiny hill. There's nothing unhealthy about the way we eat. You cannot tell me that whole foods and meats is bad for you. There's no way they can dispute that. This is why they have different versions that they're complaining about, but they don't make that very clear. So I don't mind answering these questions. I get inboxes with videos and articles and people asking questions. By all means, keep them coming. I love answering them. I just thought I needed to make this video to make it very, very clear that when you talk about keto, it's not just one thing. When you talk about Banting, it's not just one thing. There are versions of these diets out there that we even don't agree about. So there we go. Throw your questions in. Let me know you like this video by liking it. And again, I have an August group starting in August. My own personal training group. I help people through to start this diet. I help them eliminate some of the mistakes and keep you on track. So I will put in I'll post about my August group later this week, and I hope to see you there. So if you've got any questions, throw them in here, throw my post a like, share the video, please, and it helps me as well. And if we can get through to someone else, that would be great. So have an amazing day. Love you lots. Bye.